if you don't know where that sound is from, can you really call yourself like an OG Netflix watcher? Like when Netflix became like a streaming platform, not Netflix box at Walmart, like OGs from Unbreakable, Kimmy Schmidt, Titus Andromedon. Oh my god. We're about to get into it today. I think that was like the first show on Netflix that really like just hooked me into like Netflix being a phenomenon. And Kimmy Schmidt, all the characters, the entire show is just hilarious from start to finish. You can't tell me. Um Especially when Beyonce's Lemonade came out and Titus. I feel like that season has to be the most streamed season, the most rewatched season because it's like absolutely hilarious. It's so funny. I love everything about it. From Titus to Kimmy to Lily, like I love every single character. It's just everything and then some. But hi, how are you? Let's get into the show. Welcome back to the Review for Fuse podcast. As always, it's yours truly, Diavion, Avi. I go by either or. Can I just say that I've had a really, really good week. And I don't want to sound surprised. I'm just very thankful. I'm very humble for the week that I had. There were obviously moments that weren't perfect, that weren't pretty, but overall, I didn't let that one minor inconvenience, no matter how small or even big it was, ruin my day or my attitude on life. So I'm really happy about that. I've been really trying to work on fixing my sleep schedule, which is why I don't know if you guys noticed, but episodes don't drop at. They still drop on Thursdays. I usually pre-record my episodes and I have them scheduled to drop Thursdays at 6 a.m. I no longer do that. I do Thursdays 6 p.m. only because like your girl needs her sleep, and I've been trying to fix my sleep schedule, and I feel like so far I've been doing better. Trying to go to sleep earlier. I think Monday I went to sleep around 12. The next day was 11. The other day was 10. Like I'm slowly inching to my actual 9 o'clock bedtime to actually be in bed so I could feel somewhat well rested. I'm not going to say that I am well rested, but at least I'm going to sleep at a decent time. And maybe then whenever I go back to the doctors, they could figure out like, hey, so it doesn't matter how many hours you sleep, you're still, cranky. And it's like, yes, help me be less irritable to people because I know some people just think I'm a bitch, and it's like, no, just a itch. Um, but yeah, also this week I got my email for graduation. I'm so excited, guys. I've been like elated this entire flipping week. This week marks midterms, anyways. So to get the email that says, hey, we noticed like these are the last classes you need to graduate, submit your graduation application. It just makes me so happy because it's been a long journey, and even getting this email, it does not mean that my journey is anywhere close to be over. There's so much more work for me to do when it comes to my education. It just makes me happy because I originally started school back in 2020 fall at a university, and the course workload seemed to be too much. And mind you, at the time, I was 19. I was only taking one class. I was still adjusting to like life, leaving home and work and all that stuff and COVID. So you would think like, oh, COVID's the perfect time to get your degree. Yeah, if I could go back in time, yeah, maybe then. But then I was just still trying to figure everything out. So it was just awful for me. And so I didn't go to school all of 2021. I tried to go back to school in 2021. I tried to go to a community college back where I was from. That failed flat. And then in 2022, I enrolled in the community college back in North Carolina where I was working. And when I moved up to DC, I think people were asking me like, oh, are you going to switch schools? No. I was already doing my classes online. Last time I'm doing classes in person, what do I need to switch schools for? Like, no, I'm going to continue my path. I don't know about y'all, but if you've ever switched schools, what credits don't transfer, you got to retake this, retake that, you got to get this transcript, you got to get that transcript. It's just such a fugazi of a mess. Like, I do not have time for that. So I've been enrolled at the school that I'm currently at since 2022, fall of 2022 to be exact. And in the beginning, I didn't do summer semesters. I've done summer semester, I think these last 2 years, and I think that's really helped me. I've been taking like electives during those semesters, so that way I could really get those like main courses done. That's fun. And then I've been work. I only do 2 classes a semester. I'm not a full time student, and I was beating myself up. I want to say last year, maybe the year before, because I think it was the year before, because so many people that I went to high school with or the same age as me, from back home, they were graduating with their bachelors, and I was barely, making a dent in my associates. But I realized, people told me, and then I really like sat down and was just like, yeah, you know what? Like, I have accomplished a lot in my young adulthood already. I don't need to beat myself up for not obtaining my degree in like this, time period that statistically is where people should do it, but statistically they don't. So roughly it took me 3 years to get my associates. um, I'm not beating a dead horse. Like I said, I'm not a full time student. So I think for not being a full time student and getting in 3 years, I think that's adequate amount of work, um, in my perspective. So I'm really excited, and I've been looking into the universities I want to transfer to for my bachelor's. Um, and I've been looking into that. I really want to go to an HBCU because I feel like to be black is one thing. To be black and have attended an HBCU, to obtain a degree from an HBCU, these are places that not too long ago, these were the only places, people of dark skin, African Americans were allowed to be educated. Like, why would I not want to go there? And I was looking at one of the curriculums, and they have like African American history. And even though I've done American history, I wouldn't mind doing African American history because it's like, I would love to learn more about, the culture and everything like that. I tell people all the time, like, I am black, but I'm not African American black. And when I tell people that, they're like, oh. And I say it because, like, when I look at people whose parents and their grandparents were born in America, like, you know what I mean? They're different than me. My parents were not born in America. My parents were born in Jamaica. My grandparents are from Jamaica. Me and all my cousins and a couple of my aunts and uncles are the first to be, born in America. So I feel like it's different. I know I am an American. Okay, don't not too much on your girl now, but like I don't share the same. I don't want to say heritage because African American culture, Black American culture, whether you're Caribbean, African, what that is the culture, that is your heritage. But I would like to say that like some of the things that American, like Black Americans do, like Caribbean Americans don't really do that. And that's what I be trying to educate people. Y'all be so quick to put people in these boxes, and these boxes, they don't belong in it. Like, it was in history class, back in high school, actually, that I learned that the phrase Hispanic was coined by like America to just loop all Latinos together. And I find that so crazy because Hispanic is like not a word. And when I say it's not a word, it's like it's something that the government made up to just group all these people together. There are so many different Latino cultures out there. You have Dominicans, you have Puerto Ricans, you even have people from like Portugal, you have people from Brazil, like you have so many other countries that Latinos and Spaniards are coming from. So it's like to loop them all into one thing is like kind of crazy. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, like they be like, "Oh, are you of like Latino descent or anything?" Like they don't be putting Hispanic. They don't. A lot of places don't be having Hispanic no more, especially like on official forms. They don't really be saying Hispanic. It be saying Latino and all that stuff. And I find that they need to do that. I guess for Black people because I feel like it's so typical to be like you're African American, and it's like okay, let's backtrack. Before we get into the show because I'm rambling. We could say all Black people came from Africa. Okay, got it, got it, got it. But how far are we tracing these roots? How do I know? How do I not know that, we actually came from, I don't know, any other place? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, as far as I know, my ancestry, as far as I know, And when I say as far as I know, as in I did not ask. I know where my mom was from. I know where my daddy's from. I know where their parents are from and their parents' parents. That's it. It all traces back to Jamaica. If I had to be honest, I would say after Jamaica, they're probably, slaves in England, not America. Not America. I would think they were slaves in England. That's a different culture. You know what I mean? There's so many different levels when it comes to cultures and heritage and slavery this and slavery that and so many different things. So, to go to an HBCU was my main point. It just means something to me. And I'm from Florida. Why would I not want to go to an HBCU? I'm a very much proud black woman. I was going to say black girl, and I am a girl, but I'm a woman. I'm a 25-year-old woman. It would just make me so proud. And honestly, one of the HBCUs that I've been looking at has my degree plan that I want to major in to a T. So I'm really intrigued to go there. I hope I get accepted. I hope I get to go. Like I said, me getting this email and submitting my application for graduation, it's just barely a dent. I'm just moving along, this goal I've always had since I was a little kid. I wasn't that girl who dreamed about the husband and the kids and the money. I was the girl who dreamed about her education and her career. So, even though like when I was 23, I was beating myself up at 25 to know where I am, the mindset that I'm in, I'm happy where I'm at. I wouldn't trade that for a world because I think at 23 I was miserable, thinking how far behind I was versus now I'm thinking like I'm doing good for myself. Not trying to, shit on my close friends. None of them have their degrees. Now my friends are in school pursuing their degrees, but I've been doing this for quite a bit of a long time and I feel like to keep it going for myself, because that's who I'm doing it for, is all that really matters, and I'm really proud of myself. I'm also proud of my friends. They're in school. They're being educated. We don't have any uneducated people in our groups. Well, at least everybody got their high school diploma. That I know. Ain't nobody walking around with just a GED. They got their high school diploma. But anyways, let's get on with the show. I actually don't have a lot this week for you guys. Like I said, I've really been trying to get my life together personally and then my education. But I did start watching the new show on Netflix called Vladmir. I don't know what I was expecting from the show. It's very, I think I'm on like episode 2, maybe 3. Sometimes you be watching shows and it's like you kind of lose track of what episodes you're in. It's very easy to lose track of what episodes you're in, but it's a very nice show. I like it. It's definitely giving me a break from one of the books that I've been listening to. I'm on the 3rd installment of this book. I can't even think of the name right now, but it's like something Lover, Rebels, whatever. And the 3rd book is just so explicit. Maybe I'm a grown woman, but maybe I'm just not that grown because I was listening to it, and it's a book, y'all. So they describe everything. Details exist to the 1,000 degree in books. So it was just really explicit. So I have barely made a dent. This is the 3rd book. I'm probably like not even 10 chapters in. I'm probably like 2-3 chapters in because it's just so much. Like, how can we open the book and just start off with all this sexual tension in the air? And I don't know, maybe I've been celibate too long and I'm not like don't get me wrong, I'm not naive, but I just feel like it's just so much. And like I'm really just trying to like balance my life out. I'm not trying to balance my love life out. My love life is very well balanced, matter of fact. But I just think, the book, is doing too much. But Vladmir, that show on Netflix, it came out last week. I actually like it. If you haven't checked it out, you 1,000% should. It stars one of these ladies, and I don't know her name. You would think, like, as somebody who does a podcast for a living, she will learn the names of the, actors and all the characters, but, I love how you guys think so highly of me, but I don't. Her name is something. She's definitely familiar. I don't know where from, but she's definitely familiar. I know I've seen her in something before. So that's really exciting to see. The show, I think it's a limited series. I don't think it's gonna have a lot of anything anything afterwards. It's really good though. Yeah, it is a limited series. It stars Rachel Weisz and Leo Woodall and John Slattery. Yeah, I'm on episode 4. Um, it gives like middle aged women. I don't even know what middle age is even considered anymore. But let's just say she's a woman in her like mid to late 40s, and she's like kind of fed up with her husband, and they had an open marriage. She's low key embarrassed by like his antics, and she meets this really suave professor, because they're at a university, professor. And I honestly originally going to the show, I thought he was like gonna be single or maybe a student. I didn't think he was gonna be a teacher, but he's a teacher. He's a professor. And he stopped saying teacher. He's a professor that teaches. And he has a significant other and a very young child. And she be fantasizing about him. I don't know if he be fantasizing about her, but I don't know. I think if a man was to, let me tell you something, I love a good schedule, right? I'm a calendar girly. If a man was to keep up with my schedule after I've already forgotten, you've just won my heart. You just won my heart. If you could literally be my calendar when I forget about things in my calendar, I would love you. I would love you. Like, he showed up at her door. They had plans together, and I think she forgot to cancel the plans, and he, like, showed up. And he was like, oh, if you don't, I could leave. And it's like, oh, how rude of me. You were so punctual on time, and I'm the failure because I didn't let you know. Please come in, come in, come in. Like, honey, we're not gonna. And then her husband had came back, and it's just like, because why would a man be there? Why would a man that you don't want, that embarrass you, why would he be there? It was just, oh my god. But you guys gotta watch it. It's based off a book. I've never read the book, obviously. I only do podcasts, but I think it's worth looking into. Who knows? Maybe it'll give something. If you guys didn't watch Running Point with Kate Hudson, oh my god, it's coming back for season 2 this April. I can't wait. I really like the show, and I love the fact that Brenda Song was in it. I think I love the sibling dynamic. As a girl who grew up with brothers, I like that type of stuff, because it's like I did a lot of things that I probably didn't want to do, wouldn't do, but I did do it because of my brothers. Simple as that. My older brother is 4 years older than me, and my younger brother is 3 years younger than me. So I'm just like right there in the middle. So it's just kind of like, yeah. Hi, how are you? Of course, I don't mind. It's just, you know what I mean. You just go on with life, and you expect life to just, yeah. It's crazy. Whatever. Netflix has a lot of other new shows coming out. None that really intrigues me. If you ever seen Virgin River, I watched it when it first came out. It was a good show. It was just too much of a grown show for me. It became like a soap opera. I'm not at soap opera age. Don't get me wrong. I love a good telenovela, right? And a telenovela is just a Spanish soap opera. But like, theirs are a little more dramatic. You know what I mean? Like, when I find like the perfectly good one with the perfect English dub, those ones are like, oh. But Virgin River was just too much for me. I think they're on season 7. My god. I remember when they were on season 2. I don't know, check it out. See what's happening in Virgin River. You know, I bet you one thing. I never seen a river in that show, and I highly doubt half of them are virgins. Just saying. They're pretty old. They're pretty old. Outlander is on Netflix, and Outlander's actually ending, guys. Oh my god. I used to watch Outlander as well. So to see that show end, it's like, but I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking, I'm like, how far in the past are we? How have we not caught up to the present, or caught up to a point where we just gonna edit right there? You know what I mean? So hopefully they're ending on their own terms, and they're not being forced to end. Shows that end on their own terms when the plot hasn't played out, I love that. You know what comes to mind when I think of shows like that? The Crown. The Crown was literally, it will go, if I was like a film major, or I guess not a film. I mean, yeah, film, anything theater, having to do with like production. If The Crown is not studied, throw the whole class away, because everything about The Crown, how they chose their actors based off like, you know, the age periods that we were going for, how they ended it, And, there was so much more to her reign, but they were like, we're going to close the chapter right there. We're not going to do a freaking season going past Queen Elizabeth. You know what I mean? The show is about Queen Elizabeth II, and it's just phenomenal in so many different ways. I love the crap out of it. 1,000 Pound Sisters aired their season finale earlier this week. Tammy and Amy have made up. Oh my God. Can I just say, sometimes they be acting really atrocious. I am 1,000% team Amy. Yes, sometimes she could be a little baby, but I do not care. That's my baby. I love Amy. And Tammy was dead wrong calling her a deadbeat mom. And then when they was at like Tammy's little surprise birthday, and like Tammy, I guess, was trying to you make nice with Amy or whatever, or trying to get up in her bubble and apologize or whatever. It's like, girl, you just called me a deadbeat mom. Here I am with my child. Didn't even know this was supposed to be like a celebration for your birthday. Like, why do I want to? Girl, I'm trying to be a mother, right? Let me go be a mother since I'm a deadbeat. Let me try to redeem myself. Like, go, girl, bye. And, Andrea, I think that's her name. Andrea, my bad. Tammy's girlfriend was like, I can see Tammy trying. She was trying. I'm not a bitch, just a itch. She was trying. She was inching closer to Amy, like she wanted to say something. However, she never said anything. She never tried to say anything. I believe, mind you, we're only seeing a portion of what was filmed, what happened that day. I believe she could have definitely tried to say something at that time. And then she got irritated and angry with the whole everybody and all that stuff. Now, I will say, Tammy, medication played a factor in her situations. But at the end of the day, she's still human. And as a human being, you need to own up when you are wrong, when you are just flat out just a mess. And I'm glad that she did that, because Amy did not deserve that. And I'm very happy for Amy and Brian for their wedding. I think their wedding was really cute. It was really nice. It was definitely better than her wedding to Michael. And I love that for her. Like, if you get married once, your second wedding should be more than your first wedding. Now, your third wedding should not exist. If you get married a third time, honey, courthouses exist for a reason. They're not just for, going to jail and whatnot. Go get married at a courthouse, things like that. I only plan on getting married once in my life. Should I ever walk down the aisle again because my first marriage did not work out, best believe we going big. We going big. And like, I be telling people, I'm like, if I had to choose between a honeymoon and a wedding, I'm choosing a honeymoon. I'm choosing a honeymoon every single time. So if my first wedding, if I only get my honeymoon, best believe it's going to be the best honeymoon that you've ever seen. My honeymoon going to be 6 months long. No baby in sight. Like, I don't care. Like, what? I'm not. Whenever I do get married, I am not trying to have a kid within that first year of marriage. What? I did not get married to have kids. It would be nice to have kids once I'm married, but I did not get married to have kids. I got married because I believe in, matrimony and, that beautiful thing that is matrimony. Sure. The things you share with your significant other, I believe in that type of stuff. So, like, I'm all for it. But, anything else, I'm not having kids. Like, maybe two years into marriage? Maybe. But that first year of marriage, no. My mom's going to hear this and be like, really, Abby? Really? Because why are we in a rush to get married and then we're going to have kids? Like, what? Who says that getting married automatically means you need to have kids? You need to do this. Who said that? Because I would like to know. So I could be like, bloop, you're blocked. I don't care. That's just me. Unexpected on TLC. This last season has been quite something. Your girl might watch it, maybe. I don't know yet. I really don't care watching young son. They get younger and younger every season. I think like one of the fathers is like 13. 13. I don't even think, what was I doing when I was 13? I don't even think I knew half of that stuff when I was 13. I think 13, I was in like 8th grade. So that was like, if I'm correct, 13, I'm in 8th grade. That's when we saw like the birthing video and I was disgusted. And that's what solidified, like, oh, I'm not having kids because whose coochie could spread like that? That looks so painful. I don't want to do that. I'm still terrified to give birth, but I do want kids. I was just like, that's not happening here. No, ma'am, no ham. it's a pretty slow week here, and it just snowed, even though it was literally 80 degrees earlier in the week. We're not 80, but it was in the high 70s. It literally dropped all the way down to the 30s and snow, guys. Find that groundhog. Find that groundhog because next year I'm not playing. Like, who says it's allowed to snow in March? We're in the second week of March. Like, don't get me wrong. I've always known that I was a winter baby, but I'm like a winter spring baby because like I grew up in Florida. It's coldness? Snow? What's that? I don't know what that is, but anyways, as always, make sure you guys like, subscribe, leave a comment, say hi. I'll say, hey, yo. And, we'll go from there. I have so many new things that I want to bring to the podcast this year. It's going to be really intriguing. And I also want to get yours truly started up as well. I know I've been talking about yours truly since last September, but I'm really trying to map it out in a way that really fits my personality and it's not too much on me because apparently I like to do a lot when I already have a lot going on. But that's nor here nor there. You know what I mean? But as always, happy listening, guys.